Hi, good day everyone. I am Asha Jamel F. Navarro, a student from One India. I am here to discuss our topic, which is the self in Western and Eastern thoughts. So let's proceed to the Western concept of self. Ancient Greek philosophers see humans as the bearers of irreplaceable values. Saint Thomas Aquinas believed that body is constitute individuality or being separated from the others. So what make you separated from the others is the fact that you have your own body. And the famous quote of René Descartes, I think therefore I am, supports what St. Thomas Aquinas said. Let's talk about Frank Johnson. He is a psychiatric and a professor. He outlined the four categories on how the term self is used in contemporary Western discussion. First is analytical. It is the tendency to see reality as an aggregate parts. The self is observer, separate, and distinct from external object. So, meaning, the self can be viewed or must be viewed as an entity or as an object that is different from the environment and from the other people. In other words, analytical is me versus the others. Second is monotheistic. According to Johnson, one of the tendency to understanding the self is that we believe that the self is modeled after unitary omnipotent power. In other words, man was created by God in his image. Next is individualistic. As what I've said earlier, being separated from the others, it is being individualistic. Individualistic, it is a Western thinking where self expression and self cultivation is an important way to establishing who one is, as well as finding satisfaction in this world. So if you are in West, it is what you want to be or what you are meant to be. It is about pursuing your goal without listening to others of what you need to do. Last is materialistic or rationalistic. The individual is rational. He or she can decide of what she wants, and no one can dictate them of what should they do. According to Western perspective, the self is unique and different from the others. Let's proceed to the Eastern concept of the self. Eastern is also called as Oriental and represents the Asia. Let's take a look at the four pillars of Indian psychology. First is Dharma, refers to rules that describe goodness and appropriate behavior. The karma refers to the movement from past incarnations that affect the present and the future. We are all familiar about this karma because we at least experience it in our life. Next is the Maya, refers to distorted perceptions of reality and experience that can be identified as such only with direct attention to our own processes of awareness that come about through internal concentration or meditation. Last is Atman, refers to a concept of universality in which the self is seen not as individual but as part of the entire cosmos. Unlike to the Western concept of self, this Eastern is you are not separate self. You are not just a separate self, but a connected of you are connected to the entire cosmos. You can be connected to the other people, you can be connected to the whole world and to the universe. Let's move on to the Buddhism. Buddhism is composed of teachings of Buddha, and the ultimate goal of this is the nirvana or enlightenment in English. Buddhism, in Buddhist tradition, The self is not an entity, a substance, or an essence. Again, not unlike to a Western self, the self is uh, an object and an entity. And according to this, the self is independent and ever changing. The self is a dynamic process. Okay. The Buddha taught a doctrine called anatta, which defines as no self, no soul. Anatta is a concept of that the sense of being permanent, autonomous self is an illusion. Okay, let's move on to the next one, the Confucianism. In Confucianism, self-cultivation and self-realization seen as the ultimate purpose of life. And Confucian philosophy presented the idea that every person is born with four beginnings. Four beginnings of the self. First is Gen, heart of compassion, means God will and the sympathy towards the others. Second, Yi, heart of righteousness, means rightness and the respect of a duty. Third, Li, heart of propriety. It is having the practice of propriety in all that you do. And the last, Chi, heart of wisdom. The wisdom is expressed by putting Gen, Yi, and Li in practice.
Taoism. Taoism is religious or philosophical tradition of Chinese origin which emphasizes living in harmony with the Tao or the Way. Tao denotes the principle that is the source, pattern and substance of everything that exists. According to Chung Tzu, the perfect man has no self, the spiritual man has no achievement, the true sage has no name. So, Taoism, I can say that Taoism symbolizes the tradition of Chinese origin. It shows the life of the people in the way on how they are living. The word Tao is not a good, it's source and the way of natures as a whole. Islam. The Arabic word of the word self is nafs written in the Holy Quran. It pertains to psyche, at the totality of the conscious and unconscious human mind of the souls. Islam. The explanation of this is that it's a submission to the will of God and that religion demonstrates peace, the tolerance not only in self but to others. The difference between East and West. Western society strives to find and prove the truth while Eastern society accept the truth as given is more interested in finding the balance. Western put more stock in individual rights, Eastern in social responsibility. There are differences between East and West. When we say West, just I learned their way is to find and have evidence to know what is the facts, evidence to know, accepting the facts or truths that wasted for them to balance everything. Eastern philosophy, Buddhism, Confucianism, Taoism, and Islam. And Eastern philosophy includes Buddhism, Confucianism, Taoism, and Islam. In these categories, it showed that the Eastern philosophy is more on spiritual oriented. People they thought the most of important things is the relationship to others. Western philosophy, Christianity, rational, scientific. In Western philosophy, their knowledge is based mainly on science, the emphasis on the material aspect of knowledge. In Western philosophy, it includes Christianity, rational and scientific, which means they emphasize the material aspects of knowledge in individual with unique characteristics are the most important thing in the world. In Eastern freedom, it showed that happiness depends on relationship that based on experience, also wealth that is good for society, not in persons. What's unlike in Western freedom that happiness is successfully if they achieve the goals in life wherein the wealth is known for personal gain for own sake.